strike first. Goes after the first one, drills a high fly ball. Left center field. This game is tied. From Javier. Seager hits a high fly ball. Deep right field. A bomb into first. Drive. It's tied. Corey Seager smashes the ball. Down line. Goodbye. Now Seager to right center field. Way back there. It's gone again. Corey Seager does it again. The Willie Mays Most Valuable Player Trophy presented by Chevrolet. Is there any doubt? Corey Seager.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live, coming at you after a 5-1 victory. Cody Bradford finally gets rid of at least some of the road woes, gives the Rangers a chance in this one, and Texas uses a pair of two-run bombs from Wyatt, Langford, and Adolis Garcia to pull this series even, with the rubber match looming tomorrow, the final game in Oakland. Should be a good one. Good to get a win tonight, though. Clearly, these games only mean so much with the Rangers eliminated from postseason contention. But as I've always said and stood by this probably past month, just to give the fans something to cheer about, some good moments along the way, that's all we can ask for. And the Rangers get that done tonight. A nice, pretty complete 5-1 victory. Definitely going to get into everything here in just a little bit. I know it's a late one, y'all. This game went, probably a little bit past 10 p.m. out here on the West Coast and past midnight in Texas. But we're getting it done. Appreciate y'all hanging out. We are going to go through all of the scoring, the highlights, go through some of the key moments in this game, and we'll go through the box score, tell you our players of the game, all that and more in just a little bit. But first, of course, here at Right on Rangers, we cover everything sports, but we put a big emphasis on all the teams we love from the great state of Texas, including the Rangers and especially the Rangers during baseball season. Thank you for choosing Right on Rangers for all of your post-game Texas Rangers content. Let's get into it. And I'll check comments as we go along. You got something that you want to get off your chest? You got something that you want to ask for the group or for me? Put it in the chat. We'll talk about it. Big weekend of sports coming up. We got the Rangers final series against Anaheim. And then, of course, tomorrow night, Cowboys are in New Jersey playing the Giants. We'll be going live after that Cowboys game as well. A day game tomorrow for the Rangers. Not sure if we'll do a combined Rangers-Cowboys live or if we'll split it up. We'll just have to see what we have time for tomorrow, but we will make one of the two happen. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Natalie, thank you for the comment as well. Natalie says, I don't think Garcia accounted for the win when he missed that ball. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Garcia, I don't want to mar a great offensive night from Dolly. Really don't want to get too negative, but the definite defensive woes, if you will, continue for Adolis, I think. The wind obviously may have played a factor in that one, but let's be clear. We've said it a number of different times. Adolis Garcia, not his best year following up a Gold Glove season in 2023. Kind of a down year all the way across the board for Adolis Garcia, but glad to see him having some positive moments down the stretch here in September. I think we all can agree with that, Rangers Nation. Good to see some of these nice moments from Adolis. The home run that he hits tonight, padding a lead to give the Rangers really, I would say, a clear margin that the bullpen just took and ran with. Bullpen was outstanding tonight. Player of the game in this one for me was tough. I know it'd be easy to give it to Wyatt Langford, two-run homer. Be easy to give it to Adolis Garcia, a two-run homer himself that really sealed the victory. I'm going to give it to the bullpen tonight. 5 1/3 scoreless innings pitched. You had Matt Festa coming in a pressureful situation, bases loaded, 4th inning, gets out of the jam, goes on to pitch 2 more scoreless innings, lowers the ERA to 5.56. Look, I don't know if you can be proud of a 5.56 ERA, but Matt Festa comes out, throws one of his better outings of the year in relief of Cody Bradford. Andrew Chafin comes in, throws an inning and a third, 1 hit, 1 strikeout. Leclerc comes in, never a doubt, Jose Leclerc, and throws not 1, but nearly 2 clean innings. Players of the game tonight has to be the bullpen for me. I think Wyatt, Langford, Adolis, Garcia, close second, each with multi-hit, each with a 2-run homer. But I'm going to go bullpen tonight. Players or player of the game, however you want to think about it. Great outing from them. And look, you didn't even have to use the big dogs. You didn't even have to use David Robertson or Kirby Yates in this one. You just had some of the guys that, Andrew Chafin, I think, definitely a guy in the mix to help bridge things from the 7th inning to David Robertson and Kirby Yates in the 8th and the 9th. But nevertheless, Festa, Leclerc, Chafin, using those guys in a game like this to close this one out, beautiful. So bullpen followed by, of course, Wyatt Langford with the 2-run bomb early on, and then Adolis Garcia to pad the lead in the, 3rd inning? Rangers didn't score after the 3rd inning. This game was a little bit of a sleeper late. Let's be real. This game was a little bit of a sleeper. You didn't have any runs scored by either team from the 4th inning on in this one. So I got to say, not a lot to be excited about in the late innings, but it started out well. And of course, the bullpen and just the pitching staff in general, shutting it down late. Have to love that. I'll go to some comments here. Langford, 1 homer away from 15. Hey, we were talking about that earlier. I think, Natalie, you posed that. Was Langford going to get to 15 home runs? It's looking like he's got a shot. You got to hit 1 over, the last 4 games? I think it's very possible that he gets it done. So we'll see if he can get there. Langford absolutely coming on nicely in September, hitting over 300. Gotta love the positive building blocks that you're seeing here from Wyatt late in this month, late in the season. Think going into 2025, Wyatt Langford is going to have a pretty prominent role in this lineup next year. Clearly don't know if you're going to see him hitting second or not with Corey Seager coming back healthy next season. I think, though, 3rd, 4th, 5th, I don't see Wyatt hitting much outside of that, 3rd, 4th, or 5th. I think you've got to have his bat up there at the top. He's proven to be one of the more reliable hitters down the stretch here for the Rangers. So I think despite what I've said in the past, I really haven't been a huge fan of making the rookie, making a guy this green in his MLB career the protector of Corey Seager, the 3-hole hitter. And I think Wyatt did struggle earlier this year when he was put in that spot. But maybe now, over the course of a 162-game season, some experience under his belt, I think maybe you give that nod to Wyatt Langford next year. You see how it goes. I think Wyatt is showing he is capable. There's still some things he needs to work on, both offensively and defensively, but you've seen a lot of positive strides this year with him. And the positive thing is it's an upward trajectory, right? I can't say you feel like Wyatt has stalled out at this point or is plateauing. I can't feel or say you feel like he's on a downward. I feel like it's a positive trajectory for Wyatt, and he hasn't reached the ceiling yet, which is scary. I mean, if you can get Wyatt more of that 25, 30 home run, maybe a 25, 30 steal campaign, now we're cooking with gas. I think the Rangers have to get Wyatt more confident and have to get him moving more in the running game. He's got too much speed to not be a guy that can get 30 home runs or more and 30 steals or more. I think at this point, 30 for 30 is definitely something that Wyatt can do. 20 for 20, absolutely. But I think Wyatt could definitely be 30 for 30 type guy. 17 stolen bases this year in 484 at bats. Missed about a month of the season due to injury. You feel like with that month back, he probably gets to 2020. And I think Wyatt Langford, the ceiling is probably 30-30, maybe 35-35 home runs and steals. That's my take on Wyatt Langford. Don't know if he's going to be 40-40 guy, but I think 30-30, very reasonable for Wyatt. Let me keep rolling here. I could see Garcia getting to 40 home runs, 100 RBI, but I could also see him putting these numbers up. Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking next year. I don't think Dolly is going to get there this year. Could Dolly hit 40, 100 next year? Look, possibly. I don't know what Dolly is going to be next season, what work he's going to put in the offseason. That is, I think, what Dolly needs to be doing for the Rangers. Hitting cleanup, hitting in the spot that he's been hitting. Adolis Garcia needs to be a 4,100 guy. If Dolly can be a 4,100 guy, this Rangers team might be in a different position on September 25th. Right now, he's close to 25 bombs, mid 80s for RBI, but you're hitting 4 all season long. I know Dolly dropped down a little bit, 5th, 6th, in the doldrums of summer, if you will. But I think if Dolly can be or can get back to that 4,100, you'll take that. 100% you would take that. Let me keep going here with comments. Gio, go Rangers, man. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. Late night, but we're here. The Rangers have a chance to win the final series in Oakland. I love it. Rubber match tomorrow. That's all you want. A chance to win a series here late. Stack these series wins. The Rangers, they have been stacking these series wins together. They were at, I think, 5 of their last 7. Then they played over this last weekend. I think they're right around that 5 out of 7 mark, 5 out of 8, something like that. Don't quote me, but the Rangers have been winning more series than losing of late over the past month. Positive trend. You kind of always wondered, would the Rangers just take a little bit too long to start stringing together some series wins? And the answer, in fact, was yes. But it's good to see, nonetheless, the Rangers winning more series than they lose over this last month and a half. Keep going here. Yep, 40-40, I think, is within reason. It's within reason. I think you've got to get Wyatt a little bit more consistent with the home run ball. I think you saw it come in spurts this year. And I do think that a part of his game that he needs to continue to gain confidence in, and the Rangers can work on it in the offseason with him, is the running game. I think he could easily be a guy that steals 40 bags. I think the speed, probably top 5, top 10 for sure in Major League Baseball. No reason why it can't be stealing 40 bases. Now you got to work on the little things with that. You got to work on the good leads, the good jumps, right? Things like that. The good slides. All of that goes into stealing a bag. It's not just about raw speed. So I think that there are some things to Wyatt's game that are yet to be untapped. We'll see. Daniel, what's up? Thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate you. Daniel says, I hope you guys can win your next game, even though I know we're out of the playoffs. Hey, my Dodgers are only 1 game from clinching the division. Yep. Thanks. I appreciate the well wishes. Look, it would be nice to get out of Oakland with a series win in this final series in Oakland ever, right? The A's, I think, are on the road next, and I do believe this is the last series in Oakland at the Coliseum that the Oakland A's will ever play. And then after that, of course, the move to Sacramento temporarily, priming for a move to Vegas permanently out here. I'm not going to lie. Selfishly, I'm looking forward to some Major League Baseball out here in Las Vegas. get to see my Rangers a lot more with them coming to town a couple of different times. Sure will be nice having probably 7, 8 games out here in Vegas with the Rangers. Few years away, but look, I feel bad for the Oakland fans. I think that Oakland definitely shows out when the team actually invests money and is good. Over the past several seasons, that hasn't been the case. John Fisher not really spending the big bucks on this team. Feel bad for the Oakland fans. But look, selfishly, I will gladly take the A's coming to Las Vegas, getting to see the Rangers multiple times a year. We'll take that. 100% we'll take that. So let me keep going here. Appreciate all the comments so far. Throw them in the chat. We'll get to them eventually. You know how it works. TikTok, let me see what we got with you guys. If I missed anybody, I know that I've been neglecting you so far in the live, so don't want anybody to feel left out. Make sure that I didn't miss any comments or anything like that. But thank you again. Appreciate all of y'all's support. Means a lot. Thank you for all the likes, the shares, the comments. It's great. I love it. And thank you to everybody that's tuning in now. Again, drop a comment in the chat if you got anything you want to add in. But let's go ahead and let's start breaking this one down. So Marcus Semien, he goes 1 for 4 with the run scored tonight and a walk, on base twice. Tallied his 1,500th career hit. Not bad. And of course, special for Simi, being that he played a lot of games in this ballpark for Oakland. So Simi, I believe, did a year or two with the White Sox, then went to Oakland, then went to Toronto, and now in a Rangers uni, most likely to finish out the career. So Marcus Semien collects his 1,500th hit. He's had a pretty good series so far, a pretty good 2 games in Oakland. Good to see him on base a couple of times. Marcus trending positively, I would say, over this month of September. Let's look at the stats for him. Why don't we? So Marcus, over his last 7 games, I always like to see, there's the eye test, and then there's what the stats say. So Marcus, over his last 7 games, hitting 233, 281 OBP. So look, feels like Marcus has been picking it up of late. I don't know if that's because it's been so bad at times this year for Simi, that anything better than that just feels like a win. But Marcus, 7 for his last 30. No homers, 2 walks. Look, Marcus needs to get back on track with the long ball. 22 homers this year. You'd really like to see Marcus approaching that 30 homer number, 100 RBIs, only 73 RBI this season. Again, 22 bombs. Marcus, I think, prime candidate for a bounce back year in 2025. Let's keep going down the list here. We had Wyatt Langford going 2 for 5, raising the average to 252, 2-run homer in the first inning that really padded that early lead for the Rangers. Kind of been the recipe all year. Get a decent start from your starting pitcher, hand it off to a dominant bullpen, score early, don't necessarily score again. This was classic Texas Rangers baseball in 2024. So Wyatt, 2 for 4, 2 RBI. Jonah Heim hitting 3-hole. Look, Heim having a nice last 7 games here. He's hitting 320 in his last 7 with a home run, 4 RBI, 2 walks, 8 for his last 25. So Jonah gets the 3-hole call today and does a pretty nice job. Jonah was 1 for 3 in this one. 1 for 4, 2 runs scored. Did have a walk as well, on base twice. Man, another guy. We were talking about Dolly. Could he go 4,100 next year? If you can just get Jonah hitting around 250, maybe getting close to that, 70, 75 RBI mark this year, only at 57. Jonah had 95 in 2023. Not saying you got to get back to 95 RBI for Jonah Heim, but could you give us like 250 average with 75 RBI? Maybe 15 bombs, something like that. That would be phenomenal from a Jonah Heim type player in your lineup. Some of these guys don't have to go out there and have like incredible campaigns next year. They've just got to be average. And this year, a lot of Rangers players below average. If we just can get average from some of these guys, it is going to go a lot better for Texas. A lot better for Texas next year. So Jonah Heim, 250 average, 75 RBI. You'd love to see something like that, no doubt. Me keep rolling. We've got Nate Lowe, 1 for 4 with an RBI as well. Nate Lowe, after the Wyatt Langford home run, adds in an RBI himself. I think that was a single up the middle, if I'm not mistaken. And then we skipped over Dolly. He was 2 for 4 tonight. Of course, the 2-run homer. And Dolly raises that average to 223. It was dipping below the 210 mark, getting close to that Mendoza line for Dolly. Let's see what Dolly is at for his last 7 or so. We talked about Jonah Heim hitting 320 over his last 7. Dolly hitting 310 over his last 7. I think you got to appreciate that. So Adolis Garcia having a strong finish to his 2024. No walks for Dolly over the last 7. You'd like to see that number a little bit higher. 13 strikeouts over his last 7 games. Not ideal, but look, you'll take the 310 average in a down year, in a year that's been not great. Not great for Adolis Garcia. We'll take 310 and 310 OBP at this point. 2 homers, 5 RBIs over his last 7 as well. Keep going here. Foscue gets the call for the 7th spot, actually the 6th spot in the order. I know when you're getting into the bottom of the barrel here, Foscue, Fabian, Duffy, Ornelas, it's kind of like a crapshoot. It really doesn't matter what the order is when you're choosing between those 4 guys, but Justin Foscue continues to just look lost. I don't want to harp on it in a win like tonight, but Foscue just looks lost out there. The body language is terrible. You look at the facial expressions as he walks back slowly from home plate, just contemplating life. Look, batting 048, I feel bad for the guy. This isn't me just going in on him, right? Just dogging him. I feel bad for the guy. I don't want to see Foscue hit 048, right, in his first 40 at-bats as a big leaguer. No diehard wants to see a top prospect like Foscue come up and struggle this much. So I think sometimes people can mistake me harping on a player as not liking him or rooting for failure. Quite the opposite, y'all. Every Rangers player in this lineup I want to see do well. But Foscue just not in a good way. I said last night, and I'll say it again, can we just end the experiment for 2024? I'm not saying Foscue's not the guy. I'm not saying bench DFA Foscue. I mean, look, he keeps hitting like this. That's going to happen. But I am saying, I think for 2024, you call it good. Foscue kind of an emergency off the bench guy. But let's not kill the confidence anymore. I know that with a few games left, they're just trying to see if they can get any positive momentum or traction from him. But I think it's pretty clear the dude's over his skis right now. Like, don't let him continue to struggle. Like, you're batting 048. I'm going to look at these numbers over the last 7 for Justin. It's going to be ugly, probably among the most ugly last 7 stats we've ever seen. He is 0 for his last 21. I mean, he is hitting 0 over his last 7 games. 0 for 21 with 11 Ks. That's terrible. You're talking 21 ABs, 11 Ks, no hits. I mean, 1 walk mixed in there. The dude's been on base 1 time in his past 7 games. Again, I'm not saying DFA the guy, but can we at least end it for 2024? End the Foscue experiment. It's done. It didn't work out. You can reload in spring training, and maybe he ends up making the roster as a utility bench player. But at this point, I don't know how much more you want to kill this guy's confidence. You're already teetering into Davis Wenzel territory. Wenzel, a first-round pick the year before Foscue. Foscue, a first-round pick in 2020, along with Josh Young, I believe. Like, at this point, I don't want to kill the guy's confidence anymore. So that's my take on Foscue. Would love to see him bounce back. It's just not looking like it's going to happen this year, no matter how many opportunities the Rangers want to try to give him at this point. Let me keep rolling here. So we're just going down the box score for anybody jumping in late here in the game. Fabian goes 0 for 2, eventually was replaced by Leody Taveras, who also went 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Fabian still looking for that elusive first major league hit, still batting 0. I was hoping he was going to get it in his first 2 at-bats. Wasn't meant to be tonight. Not sure if Fabian's going to get it this year or not. But going down, Matt Duffy, good for him, by the way, getting a little call-up. Duffy, a vet, a guy that played for Bruce Bochy back in the mid-2010s, I want to say, is when he first came up with the league. Good to see Duffy getting some major league time. That's got to feel good for him. I'm really happy for Matt Duffy. 0 for 2 with 2 walks tonight. Had an absolutely scorched ball, I believe, in the first inning. Just got unlucky. One of those atom balls right at the shortstop. But I'm a Matt Duffy fan. I just think he's a solid player. I mean, the Giants drafted him in 2012. He was an 18th rounder. And in his rookie season, he was actually Rookie of the Year candidate. I mean, he was up there. So this is an overachieving guy. And I just love to see guys like this get back in the league, getting an opportunity. I mean, these were his first 2 at-bats of the 2024 season, been in the minor leagues all year long otherwise. So love to see a guy like Duffy getting an opportunity here. Just to feel good for a vet that has now kind of been relegated to minor league duty, getting an opportunity. Don't know what the future holds for Matt Duffy with the Rangers organization or baseball in general, but just feel good for the guy. And with games being somewhat meaningless for the Rangers right now and Josh Young being shut down for the season, I think this was a good move. 100%. Hope Duffy gets a few more ABs in games along the way. Let me keep going. We've got, lastly, Ornelas, 1 for 4. Had a nice oppo hit that he kind of muscled out there. Nice ground ball that made it past the second baseman. So Ornelas goes 1 for 4. 3 strikeouts. Ornelas, 182 on the year. Love what you get from Ornelas defensively. The bat just still leaves something to be desired. So I don't know what Ornelas and his role is going to be on the team in 2024. I think you've got to see who the Rangers add in terms of free agents, but I don't know if some of these guys that are up right now are doing a nice job carving out a role for themselves for next year. They may just be de facto depth guys, depending on who the Rangers add from outside the organization. But I can't say anybody's really come up and killed it from the minor leagues yet. So I'm interested to see how things go for some of these guys over the last 4 or 5 games. But I can't say anybody has wowed me coming up from the minor leagues, which is unfortunate. I think in September, you always want to see somebody really start shining, giving you some hope for 2025. I don't really feel like the Rangers have done that. I don't really feel like the Rangers have had somebody step up from the minor leagues in these September call-ups. So I'm a little bit disappointed. Look, you can't control these things. You really can. It's easier said than done. Come up from the minor leagues in September and hit 300, right? Easier said than done. But out of all the call-ups, to not have one guy that's really lighting it up. I mean, Kumar Rocker, if you want to throw him in there, sure. We'll have Kumar Rocker as a bright spot. Jack Leiter, no. Walter Pennington, been a guy that's been up, and he's been solid since I think he's been acquired. I know he had a little bit of a rough outing, but you just would like to see one of these dudes from the hitting perspective step up, have a nice September. It just really hasn't happened. We'll see what happens in spring training, though. I think that's going to be when some of these guys are going to have to prove it. Spring training 2025, I think, is really going to tell us a lot about some of these young guns and whether or not they're going to be able to contribute at the big league level next year. We'll see. We talked about the bullpen already. Festa, Chafin, Leclerc, 5 1/3 shutout innings, 4 strikeouts, only 3 hits allowed. And the number that you know I love, no walks from the bullpen. Let's talk a little Cody Bradford, though. Cody goes 3 2/3, 6 hits, 3 walks. Look, Cody had to work tonight, but he really did a nice job limiting the damage. Now, if he stays in that 4th inning, bases loaded, and Festa doesn't come in, does Cody get out of it? I don't know. But look, Festa does come in, strands all of the runners, and the book on Cody ends up looking not too bad. The 9 base runners in 3 2/3 isn't good. I'm telling you, I do think it's a real thing at this point, like the home and away splits for Cody Bradford. Clearly, the dude feels a lot more comfortable at home. The road splits look a little bit better after today, but Cody 2.25 ERA at home this year, and he's pitched more home games than away. So that's not like a small sample size. 2.25 ERA at home. That's awesome. But then you go to the road stats, 7.08 ERA on the road. I mean, look, I don't know what it was last year for him. Let me see if I can go to 2023 and see if this was like a thing. So in 2023, I mean, he was a little better at home, 4.73 ERA at home, 5.83 ERA away. So I don't know if you can really take a whole lot away from that split. But this year, definitely something about pitching on the road. Cody just not quite as comfortable. But look, he battled today and limited the damage when runners did get on base. I have to take that as a positive. So last start for him in 2024, pretty positive one. We'll see how things shake out with the rotation. We're going to preview some of the next couple of games here if we can at the end of the show. Tell y'all who is lining up to pitch the rest of the games tomorrow, and then also against the Angels in that final series on the road. So that coming up in just a little bit. I'll pause for comments real quick. Let me go to this one. So I have noticed, Natalie says, Foscue expanding the zone a lot and his at-bats that I've been able to watch. Yeah, it's an expansion of the zone. It's an expansion of the zone, no doubt, that's causing him trouble. Getting under the ball a lot of pop-ups from Foscue from what I've seen. Again, just doesn't look comfortable up there. The body language isn't good. I think Foscue needs to be shut down for 2024. Let's ramp him back up in 2025 spring training and hope a full offseason reset works for him. I do wonder if you're just killing his confidence the more that you just let him play out this 2024 season. Aaron, there's hope for next year, man, but this year, no, not for this year. But for next year, I think there's a lot of hope. And I've been very adamant in the reasons why you're getting all these guys that are back healthy in 2025, fully healthy, pitching, hitting. You had guys missing a majority of the year this year on both sides of the ball. Now you've got a full year with DeGrom, with Malley, with Josh Young, with Evan Carter, hopefully, just to name a few guys. And we'll see who they acquire in the offseason. I think having a healthy team, as Aaron is saying right here, is huge. Can we stay healthy? And I've been a big advocate of, can we evaluate the medical staff, the programs that they have, keeping players healthy, rehabbing players, preventing injuries? Everything's got to be on the table. This was a ridiculous year of injuries, both pitching and hitting wise as well. I mean, look, the Josh Young injury, the medical staff can't do anything about a baseball hitting a wrist at 98 miles an hour. But let's talk about some of the hammies, the Corey Seager oblique stuff, the abdomen stuff, that kind of stuff. I wonder, is there something better that could have been done? And if you're a good front office, you're not getting butthurt about any of that. You're looking yourself in the mirror and you're truly evaluating everything. Can't have this many injuries next year. I think it was a big reason why the Rangers struggled. You had consistent nagging injuries as well. Max Scherzer could never get healthy. Evo dealt with multiple injuries. You had Cody Bradford missing time this year. I mean, shoot, it goes on and on. Evo was battling a couple of different things. Sorry if I already mentioned him. It was just not a great year for guys having sustained runs. Wyatt Langford was injured for a month. I mean, the list goes on and on. So next year's got to be a healthier year. And then you've just got to have some of these Rangers hitters hitting for a decent, just a mediocre average. Like, it just can't be this far below average for Adolis, Garcia, Jonah Heim, etc. Can we just get average out of those dudes? Getting an average year out of Adolis, getting an average year out of Jonah would have made a huge difference this year in this Texas Rangers lineup. You get Dolly hitting 250, 35 homers, 95 to 100 RBI. Now we're cooking with gas. You get Jonah Heim, 250 average, 75 RBI. Now we're cooking with gas. But you get what you get this year. Jonah Heim hitting 215 with 50-something RBI, and Dolly starting to catch fire here a little bit late. Like, the numbers are not going to look terrible, especially if Dolly has a nice final series out in Anaheim. He's going to maybe be at like 25-90 potentially. Like, that's not bad. But let's be real. Dolly should have over 100 RBI hitting cleanup. Like, you're hitting cleanup, you're hitting 3-hole all year long. You should be over 100 if you are doing your job. Keep going here. I agree. Natalie, Carter, Langford, Young. Can those guys continue to take positive steps forward? Can Simeon rebound? Simi can't hit 230 and be around a 300 OBP again as our leadoff hitter in 2025. Simi's got to bounce back. Look, a fully healthy Corey Seager, I think that would be huge. And then I still say you got to add somebody in free agency, somebody that can hit the baseball. You've got to upgrade. You've got to find a happy medium between re-signing Travis Jankowski as your big outfield depth move, for example, and signing Juan Soto. You got to find some middle ground. Rangers aren't going to be getting Juan Soto, but they need to do more than re-sign Travis Jankowski. I mean, signing Grossman, Jankowski, it's not going to do it next year. I think you've got to have somebody that can push the outfielders and vie for DH at bats as well. And then spot starts out in the outfield. I'm not putting all my eggs in Dolly is going to have an outstanding 2025. Not putting my eggs in the Dolly Garcia rebound basket. I'd probably put him in the Marcus Semien rebound basket. I do think Simi is going to grind out this offseason and have a better 2025. I really, really do. We'll see what happens. But I do feel like Marcus is the most prime bounce back candidate. That dude is probably the hardest worker on the team. And look, Heart and Hustle Award winner. Clearly, other people in the game feel the same way. So I think Marcus prime for a bounce back. But Carter, Langford, Young, absolutely. You can get those guys taking positive steps forward next year. Can you get average from Dolly, average from Heim, those kinds of things, and then make a free agent addition, a guy that can make an impact from the middle to maybe the bottom of the order. I'd imagine right now the play is going to be for the top five to be something like Simi, Seager, Langford, Young, Carter. I'd imagine that's what they want the top five to look like. But we'll see who they end up adding, who they end up maybe trading for, perhaps. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a fun offseason, just seeing what the Rangers do here and how things play out. I am very excited for all the hot stove talk, for all of y'all that have been with me after every game in the offseason. I am going to go live at every big story that develops. So Rangers get reported as being big time all in on a certain guy in free agency, we'll go live. Of course, if we sign somebody or trade for somebody, we'll go live. But I plan on doing a weekly pod for the Texas Rangers. I'll be doing podcasts for the Cowboys and for the Longhorns throughout the football season. We'll do some Dallas Mavericks work too when NBA gets started up. I do a little bit of college basketball, but I'm not going to lie to you guys. Football season is the prevalent one for me. College football, NFL, which coincides with college basketball. Once the tournaments, the league tournaments, the conference tournaments get going, and March Madness, of course, I will heat up a little bit with the college hoops, but I will be going live at least once a week to talk Rangers offseason stuff with you. We'll have some fun segments too along the way. Keep it a little lighthearted, but we'll also go through all the offseason transactions, rumors, hot stove items. It's going to be great. Planning on tentatively every Wednesday, by the way. Every Wednesday, potentially going live for Rangers stuff. And then we'll be going live for Cowboys Longhorns on the weekend. Or like tomorrow, Cowboys playing a Thursday night game. We'll go live on the Thursday night or Monday night game if it's not a Saturday or a Sunday. So, little plug for you guys. Come hang out in the offseason, talk some Rangers baseball. It'll be great. Natalie says here, don't know if Wyatt's in the 3-hole. He'll get to 100 RBI next year in his second year. Yeah, I think that could be a very strong possibility if he is hitting 3. I do think that is going to be, barring a big free agent signing like a Santander, for example, from the O's. Barring signing a guy like that, I don't know who else you love more in the 3-hole than Wyatt Langford. Maybe Josh Young. Maybe if you have Josh Young with a really, really strong spring training. Josh Young had moments after he came back from the wrist injury, but I can't say I ever felt like Josh Young truly hit his stride. So we'll see what becomes of Josh Young in spring training next year. A full offseason, a time to get that wrist fully healthy. I think that could do a lot of good, but I really don't know who, if not Wyatt Langford or Josh Young in the 3-4 spot. I don't think they are going to trot Evan Carter back out fresh off an injury and want to give him the pressure of hitting 3-hole. So I see it being Wyatt or Josh Young, 3-4. Maybe Dolly is in that 4 spot. I don't know. They really seem just absolutely completely set that Adolis has to be the cleanup hitter. At least Bruce Bochy does. Feels like maybe the front office was given a little pressure in the middle of the year to drop Dolly down and tweak the lineup. And then Bochy kind of said, screw it. I'm going back to the 2023 lineup. Forget that analytic crap. Forget all that. I'm going back to what works for me. It's kind of what it felt like. I made this point a couple of weeks ago. I think that there was some front office prompting. Hey, can we mix it up a little bit? This offense is terrible. Do we have to keep hitting Adolis Garcia 4th? We tried it for like 2 weeks and nothing really changed. So Boch was like, forget it. I'm going back to the 2023 World Series lineup. So look, I mean, to his credit, it really didn't make a difference when we were batting Dolly 6th or 7th and moving Marcus Semien to the 3-hole. It really did not kickstart the offense. So not the most terrible thing in the world, but look, I can imagine they're probably going to trot Dolly back out there 4 or 5-hole again, unless you acquire some really big time free agents. I got to think that's probably the play. All right, y'all, time to start getting into the games for tomorrow and the weekend ahead. So let's take a look here. We have tomorrow a day game, by the way. It'll be, I believe, an early start out here for me, 12:37 Pacific time. So that'll be 2:37 in Texas. So we shall see. But Thursday day game as the Rangers get away, heading to Anaheim next on Friday for a 3-game series with the Angels. Tomorrow is going to be Kumar Rocker against Gin or Jin, however you say that name. Look, the A's are throwing a lot of young guys right now. You've got JT Ginn. He's 4.40 ERA. So we'll see what happens in this one. But I'm excited to see a Kumar Rocker start. I will say that. I think every time that dude pitches, you're in for a treat at this point. So we'll see. Hopefully Rocker can have a little bit of a sharper, more sharp outing than what he had last time out. It wasn't a bad outing from Rocker, but a little bit too many walks. Had to labor a lot. I believe he was really getting worked in some of those at-bats, having to go deep into it. So, look, we'll see what ends up happening in that game. Kumar Rocker's 3rd start as a big leaguer. I'm excited about it. But then on the other side, JT Ginn, not sure how he's done. Let me see here his last, 3 games. New York, 5-inning, 1 earned run outing. Then against the White Sox, 4 innings, 3 earned runs, 10 hits. Then Detroit, 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 7 hits. Kind of a mixed bag from the A's probable starter for tomorrow. So we'll see what tomorrow holds. I hope the Rangers can get a series win. win that final series in Oakland. I mean, look, I know John isn't here tonight. John, a longtime listener of the pod, but John kind of said, hey, the walk-off last night, good for the fans getting to see it. I'm sure a final win at the Coliseum before they say goodbye would be nice. But look, I'm being selfish right now. Forget the A's fans. Let's get a Rangers win tomorrow. I'm not even going to be embarrassed about saying it out loud. Let's send the Oakland A's out of Oakland with a loss. I'm not trying to give away a game tomorrow just so the A's can feel better. No thanks. Let's take that series win, please, and go to Anaheim on a positive note. And it'd be nice to finish out on a little 5-game win streak here to end this season. Make me feel a little better heading into the postseason. So, rocker tomorrow. No real numbers for us to go through. Both pitchers, I don't really feel have faced the opposing lineup. I'll check it out just to do my due diligence here. But again, a 2:37 start time for all my peeps in Texas. A 12:37 start out here in Las Vegas. Yep, as I predicted, neither pitcher has stats against the opposing lineup. So let's take a look at the Angels series, do a little preview right now. We'll do this again tomorrow, but we'll end the show on this note. So Texas has not announced any starters Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, you can kind of see how it's going to line up. I'm sure you're going to see Heendog go there, go out to L.A., face his former team. Of course, Heaney pitched for both L.A. teams before he pitched for the Rangers. So Heendog going to a familiar location out there in L.A. Hopefully he can pitch well. His final audition before free agency, I'm really rooting for Heendog to have a great last game. Can imagine maybe on Sunday, maybe we see Evo for the final game of the year. I don't know how they're going to play that one, but I think it is his turn in the rotation, technically speaking. You figure maybe we see DeGrom on Saturday or something like that. So we'll see what happens. I'm curious what they're going to do with the rotation. Really hope the Rangers can finish on a strong note here, y'all. Not sure why Smith didn't play tonight. You know, Bochy has kind of been notorious for the random off days here and there. So I think it was just kind of one of those random maintenance off days for Josh Smith tonight. I don't think anything was ailing him. And if it was, maybe just general fatigue, that kind of thing. But nothing really official. I think it was just kind of a standard routine off day for Josh Smith. All right, y'all, I got to get out of here. It's getting late, approaching midnight out here in Vegas, and we're approaching 2 a.m. out in Texas. So I appreciate all you guys hanging out late night. Tomorrow won't be a late one. We'll either go live after the Cowboys game and do a joint Rangers-Cowboys pod, or we'll go separately. We'll just see what we have time for. A little bit of a busy day for me tomorrow, but I'll at least get one show in. Possibly two. We'll just have to see how my day is shaping up. But hope to see y'all tomorrow. Hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday night and a good Thursday. We'll be back tomorrow, hopefully after a Rangers win and series victory. That's the plan. If you're not following the account yet, you're not subscribed to the channel, we'll greatly appreciate you hitting that follow or subscribe button. Hit that notification bell or button as well. Get notified every time we go live, every time we post our latest and greatest content. And if you know somebody that loves the Rangers, loves baseball, or loves some college football, NFL, Cowboys, Longhorns, I also cover here on the channel, please send them my way. I'd be very, very grateful. Again, have a great night. And as I always say to end every show, God bless